The snow had barely melted when the armies of the north crossed the border. Steel and flame carved paths through once peaceful villages, and the people of the south were left with two choices: surrender or bleed. It was during the third siege, outside the walls of Alavera, that Kaelin, the fiercest warrior of the north, earned her name as the Flame of Huldur. She rode with fire in her eyes and vengeance in her blood, her sword never hesitating, her heart cold as the wind from the mountains she called home. And when the south fell, its cities crushed beneath northern boots, its banners torn and burned, Kaelin was tasked with securing the last outpost, a fortress hidden within a thick forest of medicinal herbs and ancient spirits. It was there she found the healer. Lyra had never held a weapon. Her hands were for mending, not breaking. Her words were soft, her presence quiet. But there was fire in her too, buried deep, burning slow. When the northern soldiers stormed the sanctuary, they spared the healer, not out of mercy, but utility. "Patch up our wounded," they ordered. "You're useful. Don't make us change our minds." Lyra obeyed, but her silence was sharp as a blade. Kaelin noticed. From the first moment their eyes met across the makeshift infirmary, something ignited. Kaelin didn't trust her. Lyra didn't fear her. And neither of them looked away. Days turned into weeks. The war dragged on at the edges of the land, but inside the walls of the conquered outpost, a quieter battle unfolded, between glances, gestures, and the dangerous gravity that pulled them closer. Kaelin came often, always under the pretext of inspecting the wounded, but her eyes lingered on Lyra. On the way her fingers moved over torn flesh, on the soft command in her voice when she barked orders at soldiers twice her size. Lyra, in turn, learned to read the woman beneath the armor. Kaelin never flinched, never cried out, even when stitched, burned, or broken. She wore her pain like a second skin. But Lyra saw past the steel. She saw the way Kaelin stood still when children cried, the way her hands trembled after holding a dying soldier, the way she looked at Lyra, not with desire at first, but with confusion, with a hunger she didn't yet understand. One night, a soldier brought Kaelin in with a deep gash along her ribs. "Try to take a blade for a recruit," he said. Lyra didn't speak. She simply cleaned the wound with steady hands, aware of the heat between them. Kaelin watched her, jaw clenched, breath uneven. "You hate me," she said suddenly. "I should. But you don't." Lyra met her gaze, eyes calm, defiant. "Not yet." Kaelin laughed, low and bitter. "You should be afraid of me." "I'm not," Lyra replied. "Because you don't scare me. You bleed like anyone else." Kaelin's eyes darkened. "I don't want her kindness." "It's not kindness. It's duty." Their faces were close now, and neither moved. Lyra stitched her up in silence, but the air between them crackled. That night, Kaelin didn't sleep. Neither did Lyra. The next day, a child brought word of a small southern uprising in a nearby village. Kaelin left with a unit, returned 2 days later covered in blood, not hers. She didn't speak as she sat in Lyra's tent. Lyra didn't ask questions. She cleaned Kaelin's armor, her wounds, her silence. "You don't have to carry it alone," Lyra said finally. "I do," Kaelin replied. "No one else will." "Then let me try," Lyra whispered. And for the first time, Kaelin let her. The healer placed her hand over Kaelin's heart, and the warrior didn't flinch, didn't move, only looked. Something broke between them then. Not a wall, but a barrier of silence, of denial, of everything they had pretended not to feel. Kaelin leaned in. So did Lyra. Their lips didn't touch, but the breath between them became one. "Don't," Kaelin murmured. "Why?" "Because I don't know how to want someone without destroying them." Lyra's voice was steady. "Then maybe it's time you learned." Kaelin pulled away, stood, armor clinking. "This war will end," she said. "And when it does, I won't be your enemy anymore." "You're not," Lyra said. "Not really." Kaelin turned at the tent's entrance, her silhouette framed by moonlight. "Not yet." And she was gone. But Lyra's chest ached in a way she didn't understand.
Not yet.
Winter returned like a silent beast, draping the land in white and sharpening the air with frost. The war, they said, was almost over. Treaties were being whispered behind closed doors. Borders redrawn. Blood for peace. But in the fortress hidden within the forest, nothing felt finished. Lyra worked tirelessly, tending to soldiers from both sides now. Wounds looked the same, no matter the flag. And Kaelin had not returned in over a month. No letters. No word. Just absence. A silence louder than war drums. Lyra told herself it didn't matter. That their stolen moments, their unsaid truths, were nothing more than war-born illusions. But her hands shook when she tied bandages. Her chest ached when she passed Kaelin's empty cot. And every time a rider approached, her heart betrayed her with hope. Then one night, Kaelin returned. Bloodied, limping, eyes burning with something dangerous. "Where have you been?" Lyra asked, voice low, trying not to care, failing miserably. "Ending it," Kaelin said. "What?" "The war." She looked at Lyra, then really looked, and her voice broke. "I betrayed my commander. Gave the South our plans. It cost me everything. I have nowhere else to go." Lyra stared at her, heart thundering. "You did that for peace?" Kaelin stepped closer. "I did it for you." Silence stretched, filled only by the crackle of fire and the thrum of truth between them.
"They'll hunt you," Lyra said.
"I know. They'll kill you. Probably. Then why come here?" Kaelin's voice was hoarse. "Because if I'm going to die, I want to see you one last time. I want to know what it feels like to be held by someone who doesn't flinch when I bleed." Lyra crossed the room in a breath. Her hands found Kaelin's face, tracing the dirt, the scars, the defiance. "You stupid, reckless, impossible woman," she whispered. Kaelin's eyes closed under her touch. "Do you hate me?" "No," Lyra breathed. "I love you. God's help me, I love you." And then they kissed, not like soldiers, not like enemies, but like two people who had survived fire and frost and found something worth burning for. That night, Kaelin didn't sleep alone. Nor did Lyra. They lay tangled in silence, fingers laced, foreheads pressed, hearts bare. Kaelin whispered stories of her childhood in the north, of battlefields and betrayal. Lyra spoke of lost family, of healing in shadows, of dreams she'd buried. Together, they made promises no war could break. In the morning, the fortress was surrounded. Northern riders, dozens of them. Kaelin stood at the gate, sword at her side, unafraid. Lyra tried to stop her. "They'll kill you." "Let them try." But the commander dismounted, removed his helmet, and held up a scroll. "The king is dead," he said. "Your betrayal sparked rebellion. The old guard has fallen. The new court seeks peace." Kaelin didn't blink. "And me? You're a symbol now. The one who ended the war. The one who gave us a future." The soldiers knelt. Lyra watched it all with wide eyes. Kaelin turned to her slowly. "I don't want power," she said. "I want you." Lyra's smile trembled. "Then take me with you. To the north. To wherever we're free." Kaelin nodded. 1 month later, they stood before a quiet crowd in a temple rebuilt from ash and stone. No crowns. No thrones. Just two women who had fought their own battles and chosen each other. Lyra wore green